Coach Owen, Jared, thanks for the time. We'll start with opening thoughts on the game from you and then take questions.
Yeah, I mean, we try really hard not to talk about moral victories or we almost or we could have, but I love the effort. I'm super proud of the guys, and this team has proven they're not going to quit, and that we're going to play 4 quarters, and if we can find a way to hang around and be there at the end of the game, we're going to be a dangerous group, and I think our best play shows how good we can be, and our worst plays show how much work we have to do to try to fix that. But if we can get to the point where we play a game of all 4 quarters, we'll be a dangerous team.
I'll echo that. We haven't played a full game this year, right? We haven't put it together yet, and I think that's a scary thing. That's all I got to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, when you dig a hole early in the game, it's kind of you're fighting the whole game, and we fought to the last buzzer, and just didn't go our way.
Questions?
Yeah, Jared, I just want to get your thoughts on, Scott Smith coming into this lineup, obviously a trade acquisition for you guys tonight, 5 ground balls for you. What excites you about a young player like him and how he can kind of just be a sponge for knowledge from a defensive unit that includes you, Jack, Troy, and obviously Levi, who's been with you guys since camp, and kind of just getting his feet under him in this system and being a big asset for you guys?
Yeah. Scott's a dog, flat out. Like, the kid plays hard. He asks good questions. Like, he came up to me today, out there in the field, and he, you don't see many young guys do that to an older guy, but he comes up to me and he goes, hey, like, we can't get caught up in the bullshit. And I was like, you're right. I was like, you're still getting to know some of the players. We all know there's some hot heads on our team that will find any reason to get themselves going. I said, we'll leave some alone, but I completely agree. Don't get caught up in the bullshit, and you don't see young guys say that a lot. So, kudos to Scott Smith. He'll be around for a long time.
Other questions?
Coach, as you guys go down 5-0, then you just see your guys battle back. That second quarter rolls around. Things get really settled in that third quarter, and then you guys outscore them in the fourth quarter as well. Like you said, you don't want to, kind of point at moral victories, but seeing the way that you guys were able to claw back and make this a game down to the wire, just watching this offense kind of start to really mesh together with so many new pieces playing together for the first time this year.
We're doing a lot of things right. I'm proud of that. I think we've got, every game we're getting more comfortable. I think to be down as much as we were, and then obviously give up 9 goals in half, and then 3 in the second half, right? That's a phenomenal effort. We're capable of doing that for longer stretches of time. I don't think it's realistic to say we're going to give up 6 goals in a game, but 9 goals or 10 goals, which is I think would have been well within reason. I don't think it's the warm up music. I don't think it's the pregame. I just think it's coming out and I think we come out a little bit nervous. I think some of the young guys are still, the atmosphere, the environment today was kind of weird before the game started. There's a million ways that you can think about what we can do better, but at the end of the day, being a professional lacrosse player, when the whistle blows, we have to be ready. That includes myself, and our team is phenomenal at making adjustments. They listen, they do what they're supposed to. We seem to make some early mistakes in every game, and we've got to stop doing that. We've got to figure out a way to limit those. And then, even on offense, some of our early shots are right to the goalie stick, created additional transition. And as soon as we started shooting a little bit better, we eliminated some of that. So, I couldn't be more proud of the group and the effort. And I'm looking forward to getting back to work and doing whatever we can to, it's okay to give up a goal or two to start the game, but to give up 5 makes it, it's a deep hole.
Just your thoughts on being back in Connecticut and the atmosphere here.
I thought the field was great. I've been played at this field a ton of times. Probably never in front of that many fans. I think the venue is awesome. I think there's a ton of people that love the sport of lacrosse in Fairfield County, and it's really nice to have them come out and support our team and specifically Ray Durth, who's a local guy who's playing, and I know he had a ton of fans in the stands tonight. It was just a great atmosphere and environment, and really good for the game locally and also nationally.
Owen, your most productive game as a pro so far. How would you assess kind of your comfort level coming to this group late, and where do you think you can still develop to from here?
Shoot or shoot, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's a young group, so it's kind of just like playing in college. You got guys that like to play fast and they like to play a little physical, and then they like to get creative. So they kind of put me in spots where I can kind of shoot my shot, and that's kind of like what I like to do. So, but it's just a fun group to be around too.
Other questions in the room?
Yeah, and going down 5-0 early on, what do you make of the offense's ability to sort of put the team on the back and pick it up moving forward in the rest of the game?
I don't really think it started with the offense. I mean, our defense had to make some stops to kind of get us the ball back there because, we went too early. We took bad shots, and Dauber's a good goalie. Plays his angles right, and we were just giving him easy ones. But once we kind of settled in and started picking and using each other, it kind of just started flowing, and it just led to a lot of good opportunities, and we canned a couple.
Questions on Zoom? Hayden?
Coach, I just want to start with first saying sorry about the loss of your former player. I know that hurts, but just on Hiltzy, the one knock on Hiltzy coming out of college is he wasn't the most explosive dodger, but we keep seeing it time and time again. He's winning off the dodge. So what do you make of that part of his game?
I mean, I think I was talking about Hiltzy last week, and just the number of different ways that he can challenge a defense, right? He can stretch a defense. He's got a great outside shot, mid-range shot. He's sneaky, fast, and quick. I don't think you realize it until you're trying to cover him, and has the ability to use his body when he needs to. He's got a very, very good body control. And then, his passing, some of the passes that he made tonight are just phenomenal, and they really flip the field and get the ball over to the righties. So I think, he is already a phenomenal player, and every time he steps on the field and gets a little bit more comfortable, I think we're in for a real treat, and really glad to have him on our offense.
Let's just call him a good Dodger. You don't have to be explosive to be a good Dodger.
Hey,
Chris?
thanks, man.
Gotcha.
Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, hey, Coach. The ability for your team to stretch successful moments into, throughout the entirety of the game, is that something that you believe will come together with time, or is something where more tactically needs to be addressed?
I think it's making mistakes early in the game. I also think it's being able to identify things quickly and make changes. I mean, we had to identify a few things that were different from what we've seen in previous games. So that's great game planning on the Archers' part, and give them full credit. And then it's just how quickly we can adjust and adapt. And I think with a mixed group, some veterans, some young guys, some in between guys, I think it takes a little bit longer. As we get more experience making those adjustments, I expect that we'll be able to do that faster and stop the bleeding earlier.
Any other questions on Zoom? Anyone else in the room? Thank you, guys. Appreciate the time.
All right, thank you.
Coach Trey Dobson, sorry, Brett, congrats on the win. We'll start with opening thoughts from you and then take
Trey
questions.
Dobson.
You guys want me to start?
You can start. Yeah.
Not you, Trey.
Hey, it's been a little while since we've been on the winning end of things, so I think, I was impressed with the energy, how we came out. Obviously, it was a little bit of a house on fire in a good way. And then, I give the Chaos credit. We knew they were going to scratch and claw to get back in. Some self-imposed things that, we still got to clean up. But at the end of the day, we played better lacrosse, top to bottom, and come away with it. It's a big win. It's a conference win. It's a 2-game swing for us. So we're back to the drawing board to work on some things, clearly. But, it's nice to be able to do that, having a W going into our home market here.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the offense gave us a big jump there. I thought they got on them early, and I think that it gave us confidence defensively. And the Chaos are a good team. They hang around in games, and they find ways to claw themselves back into it and make it interesting. And, luckily they didn't claw all the way back, and we were able to get a win out of it. But I thought the defense played their bags off tonight, too. I thought they played hard. I thought, Warren, Haas, Spider, they did a great job down low, and our D-middies, man, they're horses. They do a great job, and our rope unit, man, their rope units with Woody and Wires had a big game today. I know Woody had two too, so that's massive for us, and Trey's goal at the end was extra insurance for us. But overall, it was a good game, and I think we've got a lot to clean up, and we're excited to go to Utah next week.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I think each week we're just trying to find the best version of ourselves, right? And I think we took a step this week. We started on time, and it showed with the first 5 goals in that game. We have stuff to work on, obviously, right? We didn't keep the lead there, and it was close at the end. But we got the job done, got 2 points, and now we're on to Salt Lake City. So,
Questions?
Yeah, Brett, that third quarter was 2 total goals scored between you guys. When it kind of gets settled down with you guys going up 5-0, they're able to claw back, and then that third quarter kind of just is back and forth. A lot of guys just pushing up and down the field. You're in a goalie battle with Blaze. What's going through your mind as things are kind of eerily calm in that third quarter, where you're not facing a ton of shots and not a lot of goals are being scored either? What's kind of your way of just staying dialed in a quarter like that?
I would just say it's communication, mental talk to yourself, and making sure that you're focused. Because again, a team like that, and any team in this league is dangerous, can catch fire at any time. And I think that you just got to be prepared. And I think a good way is just talking with your defense. And I think for myself, I'm able to talk to Haas and Warren and Spider pretty easily. So simple things. You got to keep your head in the game, and it's kind of cliche, but it works.
Other questions?
Coach, when you guys go up 5-0 and kind of just trying to maintain that lead, and then the second quarter rolls around, and like you said, it's almost like a house on fire, but in a good way, and you're kind of just battling back and forth. What is the message in the huddle as you guys are kind of breaking things down to kind of keep a level head and, like you said, kind of getting back into the winning ways of things for you guys for the first time in a while?
No, I thought, there were times where things didn't go well, and I think we just, at those moments, reminded ourselves to not get too high, too low. There was one time, frustrated, we gave up a goal, and I can feel my blood pressure rising, and Pipe just looked at me and he just went, and was helpful, right? I mean, I think, again, we believe in who we are, right? And we know what we got in the locker room, and at the end of the day, there's a winning quotient there. We've had a little tough stretch here, but, at the end of the day, this group knows how to win. So to get today through a little bit of muck in the second quarter and then the fourth quarter, I give us credit. We found ways to win, and we said all week the margin of error is so slim in this league, and it's those mental plays, it's those little plays, and Nick Rashuda gets a shout out. Guess why? Coach, that was a 2. That was a 2. Throw the flag. I didn't have a flag in my pocket, but I had to, think about that. If he doesn't see that, doesn't call that, it's a 1-goal game. Those are big things. So, it's good to feel good and good to, start to make those little plays and have them pay off.
I'm sorry if this has been explained before, but why is Brendan Spider?
You get caught in his web. He's just Spider. That's it.
There's a whole story behind it. We can't bore you with it. It's just because it doesn't make it makes sense, I guess, but it's idiocy. It's like some movie reference or something.
Coach, on the offensive end, you had a a pretty solid outing from a lot of your guys, but no points from Tom and no points from Ryan. Not really the typical formula for you. So what has it been like kind of watching this offense kind of take a new shape this year into something like maybe we saw tonight?
I mean, that's encouraging, right? Getting Trey back helps for sure. Sam's getting comfortable below goal line and just gives us a spark and a toughness and an energy. And like we say, I preached right before the game about unity and just playing together. And I think, from Tom and Ryan, who are, two exceptional leaders and captains of our team, it's a selfless group. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. And those guys played well, so it doesn't necessarily always translate to points, but Tom draws a lot of attention, and again, at the end of the day, it's one more than them, and we don't care how we got there offensively.
Yeah.
What do you guys make of the atmosphere here in Fairfield, and what are you expecting when you go home next week?
I mean, it was a good crowd. I thought, both games today was pretty loud, and I know this is going to be nothing compared to Utah. Utah's going to be excited. Winning this game is huge for us, and I know our fans are passionate, and I'm really excited to get there. I'm flying out on Monday. I'm super excited to be in Utah and be at home. That's our home for a reason, and it's a tough place to play at, and I'm looking forward to playing there.
Yeah, I mean, I'll second that. Looking at last year, I thought the crowd helped us out. It's a doubleheader, right? Like, even going into that second game last year, guys were tired, right? Lost Tom. Like, the crowd helped us get that win at the end of the day, so we're looking for the same thing this year.
Questions on Zoom? Zach?
Yeah, Coach, just how big were those two Mason two-pointers?
In this game, you just realize that's a bit of a dagger, right? It's a big swing. It gives you a little bit of breathing room, and it's different than the NBA. Like a 2 to a 3, I was not a great math student, but 1 to a 2, like I like those percentages. Like that's a good, that's a good bump. So we've talked about it the last 2 weeks. So I'm happy that some of the things we've sort of tried to emphasize. I think our guys are realizing that we have that capability to be a good early offensive team, and Mace can shoot the hell out of the ball. So we're trying to encourage that as much as we can.
Chris?
Hey, to anyone who wants to weigh in here, there was a bit of tension at the end of the game there after the whistle. Is the key to putting all of that in the past immediately, or do you kind of hang on to a little bit of that for future matchups, or how do you cope with something that happens at the end of a game like that?
I mean, it's part of the game, right? It's lacrosse. Sometimes it can bring a team together. Sometimes it can, see who your real teammates are, getting in the scrum a bit there. But I think, ultimately both teams put aside at the end, and you shake hands, and it's a gentleman's game. And I think that what happens on the field stays on the field. And I think, obviously, it's a Western Conference game, so there's going to be rivalries that brew. And I think this is probably one that's probably gone on since the league started, well before I was here. And I think that's kind of just carried that way. And we may not like them, but we respect them as well. And I think that, it probably sits in the back of the mind, but when we play them in Boston in 3-4 weeks, we'll be okay.
I'll also add, that it's a chippy play. We don't love the play at the end of the game, if we're being honest. And at the end of the day, when you see a team rally around their teammate and come together, as a coach, I'll take that all day, every day. And we will bank that and build on that and understand that this is a group that'll fight for each other. And you saw that, so we'll store that in a positive way.
Zach?
Coach, 17 saves from Dauber, 60%. Just how much confidence does he give you in these close games?
Dauber's I'll say it all day, every day. We'll take him, he's just a clutch goalie. He's a great leader. He's a great teammate. And, at the end of the day, he's a championship goalie. There's a dude that's won 2 rings and is going to win more, so we believe in him. He believes in himself, and there's nobody else I'd rather have in the cage.
Zach?
You guys have talked about the 2 games next week, Coach. Just what are you expecting from those 2 matchups?
I haven't thought about it much. I mean, these guys mentioned, I think we're excited to get out there. That's our home market, and we know it. We feel it. I have a feeling they're excited for us to get out there. We hear ticket sales are great. And we've got 2 huge games, right? At the end of the day, we have 2 league games, so there's a lot in the line. Everybody's scrapping and clawing here. We're now starting to talk about playoffs, and how you're positioned, and what do you need to do to clinch, and what do you need to do to get a bye, and so what else could you ask for? We're in Utah. We've got 2 league games, and let's go.
wanted to see how you're feeling coming off the injury and what's it been like for you to just be back out there with your teammates and be back out there with the Archers.
No, it's been great, right? They call it the medicine game for a reason. So I mean, just being back out there with the boys and just spending time in the hotel. I've been missing out for the last month. It's just been unreal.
We've missed Trey. It's been nice to have him back.
How much different is the feeling, the vibe, and the preparation going into next week, with a win tonight rather than, a loss and looking at the standings going into the playoffs for the next couple weeks?
I mean, I don't think anything changes. We still got to play desperate. Nothing's guaranteed. And I think that was kind of the message this week was, hey, let's iron this stuff out now. I felt like Utah last year, we were in a similar position, and that kind of helped turn our season around. And I think that as we go through this week, nothing's going to change. We're going to stick to what we did this week. We're going to hammer down on it. We're going to continue to play as a team. And I think, we're just going to keep getting this camaraderie as a group going. And I think that's one of the best things about this team is how, tight and close-knit this group is. So I think we're just going to stick to what we did this week and maybe fine-tune a little things here and there, but we'll be okay.
It's nice to learn lessons after a W. Who's kidding who? It's been a little rough patch here. I'm sure we haven't lost 3 games in the history of our organization. So, to get the W is a good feeling because, it just reinforces who we are and, our attention to detail and how it can pay off and everybody can smile a little bit. And, it's been a stressful few weeks here for sure. So it's good to get the dub and realize that there's a lot of room to cover to keep getting better.
Any other questions? Thank you guys. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Thank you all.